I'm the curator and founder of Women Inspiring Network, and I'm really excited to be here at Cannes and at the Spotify studio.
Sure. So I am proudly Zimbabwean born and raised, and I moved to South Africa to get my honors degree in social work and psychology. So I'm an educated queen. I went from there into quite a non-traditional career.
So I was in Cannes last year for the first time, and what I realized that there wasn't any programming or focus groups or activations or storytelling that was centered around the continent. And I love Cannes because of what it represents as the home of creativity. And I was like, if you're going to be this global home or hub of creativity, we have to get the right representation across board, especially from the global south. So what I did with my partners like Albert and also Henry Kumi and Benewa is to put together an initiative called African. And what that means is that we are intentionally integrating African talent, African storytelling into the ecosystem of Cannes.
It is my first Cannes, and again, just doubling down on what Kojo said, it's like let's start this initiative where we actually get to see a lot of African creative in these spaces, and it's been pleasant. So it's been an amazing experience, and to be able to look at this from a long-term perspective, bringing in African creative from all over.
I'm really excited to be here at Cannes and at the Spotify studio. And of course, we're shooting one of our episodes for Wind Voices on the Spotify studio. And with me is Albert,
Yes.
Kim, and of course, Kojo from the Runway Group. So I'm going to start with you, Kim, first.
Yes.
Tell me a bit about your journey. You're a creator out of Africa.
Yes.
So tell me, how are you creating the content, and tell us about your journey.
Sure. So I am proudly Zimbabwean born and raised, and I moved to South Africa to get my honors degree in social work and psychology. So I'm an educated queen. I went from there into quite a non-traditional career. I became a model in Cape Town. I was a full-time model, and then I started a blog on basically a broke girl's guide to looking cute. From there, I got discovered on Instagram by MTV Africa. So I was scouted
Wow.
by MTV, and I became the face of channel for 4 years. I traveled all over the world, and I've had the true pleasure of interviewing everyone from Charlize Theron to Tyler Perry to Naomi Campbell. And now I run my own production house. So we curate intimate events, we create beautiful content for brands, digital campaigns, and I am currently financing, producing, directing, and hosting my own new show called Kicking It with Kim Jayde.
Wow.
Love it.
I love that introduction. And Kozo, with you, the Runway Project, because we've been talking about it. So as you know, the Women Inspiring Network is a non-for-profit global initiative where we do curated discussions on women leadership, innovation, creativity, sustainability. So we had our inaugural lounge at Davos during the World Economic Forum, now at Cannes. And of course, the next stop for us is, New York.
Yeah.
But I want to know about yours, because when we were speaking earlier, you were telling me the Runway Project is a non-for-profit out of Africa. And what is it that you're really doing at Cannes? And just tell me about your journey.
So I was in Cannes last year for the first time, and what I realized that there wasn't any programming or focus groups or activations or storytelling that was centered around the continent. And I love Cannes because of what it represents as the home of creativity. And I was like, if you're going to be this global home or hub of creativity, we have to get the right representation across board, especially from the global south. So what I did with my partners like Albert and also Henry Kumi and Benewa is to put together an initiative called African. And what that means is that we are intentionally integrating African talent, African storytelling into the ecosystem of Cannes.
I really have to give it to you.
So
It was my first Cannes last year too.
Oh, okay.
And I just did a panel discussion. And this Cannes, we had 50 plus speakers from different companies. Of course, Bridget Evans from Spotify.
Of course.
We had from Snapchat. We had from Samsung. We had from Stagewell and so on. But, I just attended and I was like, why are we not having a space? And that's how we just ended up doing our space at Martinez.
Well, similar story.
Yeah, similar story. But I think you've really got like great creators
Right.
because I realize India is also the hub of creativity.
Yep.
We just won our first Lions the gold,
Congratulations.
you know,
Amazing.
at the Cannes Lion. One of the speakers from India got it, but I wish we had more storytellers and creators
Yep.
out of India here, and I hope we can really change that next year.
For sure.
Yeah, and now Albert, I want
Yes.
you to tell us a bit about your journey.
Yes, of course. I'm Albert. I born and raised in Ghana. I'm based in London as well. Founder of a company called Ring Labs, where we focus on emerging artists, where we basically bridge a gap between local talent, which is within Africa, and global infrastructure. We just recently partnered with Virgin Music Group, where they happen to give us their distribution sort of technology to be able to get these local art talents, not just in Afrobeat but R&B, different genres, to the global space. And it's been an amazing. One of the things I'm really proud of, connecting to what you do, is 65% of our roster are women and female artists.
Wow.
And that's something that I think is important in terms of diversity and inclusion in the current space. So yeah, that's
Oh, I love it.
Thank
I
you.
really love it. And Kim, coming back to you, I've been seeing your feed on Instagram, and you know, I love it. I mean, I know that whole Africa Can thing you all are doing. I mean, all of you actually.
Yeah.
I really love the creativity, and you know, it really inspired me, and that's why we are all here. And you know, so that we get your story out to the Indian audience, so that you know, you see a larger presence of India. But just tell me, how do you create your content differently? Have you watched any of the content creators out of India, and do you think you're doing something different, or you know, how do you get the inspiration? How are you being creative?
Look, I think the amazing thing about the internet is that we have no boundaries. So we're not limited by different countries or geography. How am I inspired? I'm inspired by tons of different creators I follow globally, everything from fashion to sneaker culture to basketball. We have some iconic African creators that are being showcased in an amazing way. Mainly our recording artists, I'm sure you'll know. You've seen people like Tyler, Thames, Wizkid. So our recording artists, Burna, the African giant.
Come on.
Our African recording artists are really killing it in a big way globally, and I guess being part of this trip to Cannes and this incredible initiative from My Runway Group is really showing that there's so much more than just the music, right? We have directors and producers and
Filmmakers.
filmmakers that are
yeah.
doing amazing
And
things.
creators.
Exactly, and fashion kids and sneakerheads.
Yeah.
So I think being here to support Kojo and everything that they're doing is just such an honor, because we're showing them what we can do. We're bringing our fashion, we're bringing our style, we're coming with amazing content that's going out live daily. So yeah, it's just an honor to be here.
Yeah. And Albert, so
Yeah.
is this your first car?
It is my first can, and again, just doubling down on what Kojo said, it's like let's start this initiative where we actually get to see a lot of African creative in these spaces, and it's been pleasant. So it's been an amazing experience, and to be able to look at this from a long-term perspective, bringing in African creative from all over, not just again we are from Ghana, that's in South Africa, but we are not looking to cap it from where we're from, but generally across the whole continent, to give them the opportunity to be in these spaces, because really and truly this is where a lot of what global sort of impact that happened after this place, when everyone leaves, when you see anything announcements with brands, it starts from this place. Most of it is done, so it's important to have our people in these spaces as well.
So I actually was going to ask that question, but you sort of gave me the cue. And I'm going to ask that to you, Kozo. So, you know, he's just mentioned that everybody's from different parts of Africa.
Yeah.
And so, you know, how many creators have you seen here, and which particular countries in Africa overall? Like, you all are from different parts. I'm sure maybe some of you did not know each other, but you've come together as a community. You've been really collaborative.
Yes.
So I just wanted to throw some light on that.
I mean, there are so many countries that, well, every country has creatives in general.
Yes.
So everyone deserves to be here. Let's make that fact clear from the start. Not everyone has the opportunity to be here. Sometimes they're stifled from a financial point of view, because, you know, tickets from Africa to the West can be very pricey. Sometimes the stumbling blocks could be in the form of political reasons, and also visas and acquiring visas, where you have to prove that you have ties to an asset, you have reasons to come back, you have this amount of money in your account account over a 6-month period. There's so many hurdles that people have to overcome just to be able to jump on that flight to come over to France to be part of something like this. That could be career changing as well. So what we realize is that we have to be very intentional in making sure all of these barriers that are put in place, whether artificially or whether it's on purpose, whether it's intentional, to make sure that representation doesn't get to where it's supposed to be. African is here to change all of this. So one of the things that we did a couple days ago with the Cannes Lions team is to hold a focus group to help them understand what is the issues on ground, what are creatives facing, how are they not able to submit their work, how are they not able to travel or be a part of it. And I think a country like Kenya have had massive financial support in their Young Lions competition, and it's reflecting in the number of people that are submitting. You also have obviously Brazil, which is not, it's local, it's global south, but it's not Africa. But they, congratulations to them, are officially the creative country of the year.
Yes.
So initiatives.
I could see a lot of Brazilians.
100%. So.
And I'm actually doing a panel in Brazil in October.
Why are you not doing a panel?
That's just a panel. That's not an event, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But yes.
So basically, that's where we are with seeing things and not overlooking them, because we also realize a lot of destinies are tied to what we are doing. There is a young man that we were with yesterday. His name is Anil Art, and he applied to come over to France, and he was refused. And that was 2 days before his flight. We started making all sorts of calls. The High Commission called him back and then reversed his visa. And the emotional roller coaster of planning and buying tickets and travel insurance and all the accommodation costs, only to be told that you can't go anymore. And you have no reason. He was given no reason. Literally, they're not allowing him to go. And then when they reversed it, now he has to put things in place. And, his flight was like a 14-hour transit. So it's all of these things just to be here. But the good thing is, whilst he's been here, he's engaged with Issa Rae, Kai Sinat. Yesterday, we took him to Depth Agency, where he was doing live painting for all these CMOs and C-suite levels. So these are the things that people have to go through just to be seen and be able to engage in a space like this. And that's why it's important for everything that Kim is doing, everything that Albert is doing, everything that you are even doing to be amplified by the campaign.
And I just feel, especially the pandemic, at least it's taught us that it is the era of collaboration.
Of course.
Yes.
I have collaborated last year with a lot of organizations to just get our content and, what is women leadership and how we're creating the shift in India.
Right.
And, I love to sort of collaborate. So this is, what we're doing in Brazil is someone I met in Davos earlier. And he says, okay, I'll give you a panel to do.
Right.
So, the best way is first you sort of just experience what it is. And then the idea is to set up your own space.
Of course.
But I'm really glad that we had this opportunity to connect.
Yeah.
And I love what you're doing. And of course, these thoughts are really going to inspire the Indian audience, because we are really, really creative. We are the largest populated country in the world now. We've got the greatest creative minds, and we've got great content creators. We've got great storytellers. But they need to come here and see what is Cannes Creativity Festival is all about. And I see a lot of traction for the film festival.
Of course.
But it now needs to come back to the creatives.
Yes.
Stuti, I've said this in so many panels we've had, so Kojo's sick of hearing me say it, but we really are the first generation of creatives that are shattering those ceilings to show, not only the youth that are coming after us, but our parents and grandparents, that what we are doing is a valid and respectable career path and choice. So just by you being here and giving us the opportunity to speak to your audience and also to ours, we really are proving that it's possible.
Yes, and we just have to come together.
Exactly. We collaborate, we work together, and we support each other.
Yeah. And tell us, so in your journey, Kim, did you have any setbacks? Like when you, did you think this was the right career choice? Or maybe just tell us about the challenges.
For sure.
I mean, in an inspiring way, so that our listeners know that you have to go through the drill.
100%.
But how do you get better at it?
For sure. Almost every single young African creator I've spoken to has shared the same sentiment and experience that when they told their parents they wanted to go into the creative space, the reaction was almost always negative. And we understand and empathize. Our parents spend a lot of money giving us an education so we can get a classic, stable, conservative job as a lawyer or a doctor or an accountant, because then we'll have a guaranteed income. Creativity, we do not have that as of yet.
Yeah.
We are creating that. So I think my parents shared the same fears and doubts when I got my honors degree from a very prestigious university, Stellenbosch, and then decided to be a model, and then wanted to go into TV. How dare I? That's not a real job. What are you saying? So I think a lot of creatives in Africa, and I'm sure in India, can relate to the same, struggle. But the more people like us do it, the more, we show it's a viable source of income. It's an incredible career, and you can go around the world and be in Cannes with these fabulous people in the Spotify Lounge.
I have to let you all on a secret.
Yes.
For 2 decades, I ran a communication business.
Okay.
10 years back, I had gone for a program to the United States. It was a program for young entrepreneurs, emerging entrepreneurs from all over the world. And actually, I met some people from Africa. Like, they're my great friends from Ghana and Kenya and all that. I'm still in touch with some of them. Anyway, they connected us to women in Fortune 500, women in C positions in the United States, like Ariana Huffington, Sheryl Sandberg, Indra Nooyi, and all. And they imbibe in you how to pay it forward. But of course, we came back, and whatever the embassy asked me in my own way, maybe I would mentor children or.
Right.
But it was in the pandemic when a client of mine in the communication business came to me and he says, let's do a webinar, but I have no budgets. I said, I can do it, but you have to have women change makers. Within the first week of the pandemic, when India went into the lockdown, we ended up doing 14 panel discussions with 70 speakers over 2 days, like all online. And we had like 50% women change makers. So if it was design, in the retail, the creators, and the film, to different subjects. And we were just a community till last year, and we just kept scaling up, and we've done some 200 plus panel discussions. And of course, our tagline is, it's a movement to pay it forward.
Yes.
But last year, actually, I was in the United States end of 2023, and I want you to know the story, and you should take this story back to Africa, and Kojo, you'll be able to relate. So I went back for a networking event to the United States, and I was like, everybody's going to Davos. And I said, okay, why am I not going and seeing what is
happening?
And I just had told at our first offline event in the end of 2023 that maybe in 5 years we'll go to Davos, during VEF. And I'm like, all these people from America, and everybody's talking, okay, I should just buy a ticket and go.
Yeah.
Then I thought to myself, that if I'm going, why am I not going to do the panel discussions, which I'm doing here? So I started writing, and it was the biggest festival in India, the Diwali, the Indian Festival of Lights. And the first organization came back to me, which was a UK-based organization, and they said, we want to hear the Indian voices.
Amazing.
I said, fine. I'll put together a panel, which was for Jan of 2024 Davos, which was last year.
Yeah.
And but the story is, I didn't find enough women out of India. So I had to say, can I do it global? I did find 3, but I did take 1 or 2, and However, Indian government has a huge space. And then, of course, I wrote to the government, and they told me you can do the panel discussions. And I went there, and I saw, and by the way, Africa is there.
Right.
I'm just giving you the information, but yeah. And I was like, I was on this mountaintop at Shadzalp, and I attended, I think maybe Inkwell or one of these spaces. And I said, if I do my event, I'm going to do it on that mountaintop. So you just have to believe in yourself, manifest, and it will happen. The universe has a strange way of aligning. And this year, within a year, we had our own space at Davos. And I met a lot of people from family offices, and they turned around and they told me, but are you from India? And I said, yes, I live in India. But they said, but no one else has a space here apart from the government. No, I'm not even talking about Indian women. And I said, it doesn't matter, but we did it. And so I'm just saying, you have to sometimes take the plunge, believe what's in your heart, and go after it.
100%.
So, to all our listeners there, you cannot just think in your mind that, okay, this is going to fail or this is
100%.
risk. You have to just take it.
Yeah.
So I was here at Cannes again, I did one panel on India's equality moonshot, but I was like, I'm going to do my space. So, last year we just kept doing panel and now we have our own event. So that was the story. I just wanted you to know you have to go after your dreams.
Yes.
And now coming back to you, Albert. So tell me something like what inspires you to what you're doing.
What I do, I think is where I come from. And again, like you mentioned, not just our family, our community, where we were raised back home from Accra, Ghana, I was born, put so much into us, right? That when one person makes it out there in terms of get the opportunity to connect other people in there, I cannot sort of let them down, should I say. So it's just a community that raised me is what really inspired me. And in terms of the musicians I hear, the sound, in terms of the artists I work with, they are also what really inspire me. Because one of the struggles, again, as mainly thing when it comes to the African music ecosystem, is funding. But the music and the quality they put out with not much infrastructure is amazing in terms of competing on global level. So what they are able to do with little, in terms of the artists I work with, are the people who really inspire me to actually push for them and plug them in spaces that I can. Or I'm again, like an opportunity, I'm here now, how I can plug my artists in music, in sync, in film, in fashion, in all these spaces. So, but yeah, it is the people who are around me, the artists I work with, and in my team, Rain Labs, and how much effort they put into it. But I love how you mentioned in terms of consistency is very important. And I one thing as well back home again is in creative is that most of them do have 9 to 5s, right? And they do creative on the side because doing creativity or full time is expensive and it doesn't pay. So you do have the balance of people doing 9 to 5, they get home and then they do 5 to 10 and it's just consistent. So it's just amazing how much our people put in terms of energy and time. And I love your sort of your story that you just given, and it's really also shown and given the background of what we also gone through as well. So we have similar
of course, we all are similar at a very basic level, We all, it's just the world has sort of just divided us, but, we are the same. But Kojo, what's next for the Runway Group? Tell me a bit about that. Of course, we still have this and next year. What are your plans? Like, what do you intend to do with this group? Like, what's your vision?
Ooh.
I know, it's such a big question.
We all want to know. Tell us.
I want to know because but it's been a collective push. It's been very progressive over the years. We tried not to have too many goals and be able to kind of relate to real-time issues and use creative ways to kind of keep solving them. We want to have a lot of presence on the continent. So we're working with British Council. They're obviously across a lot of the Commonwealth countries. We want to do a lot more to let Africa's soft power, especially in the creative and trade areas, be seen and respected by other countries, especially from the West. We want to do a lot more integration of African talent and brands into the world or global ecosystem. So you're looking at talent coming from the continent, hosting international programs or featuring on international stages or being part of international campaigns. We just want the voices of the diverse voices from the continent head across the world. So however that takes shape, if that is a long-term project, whether it's a short-term campaign, whether it's talent representation, whether it's just consulting and advisory with government agencies, we're looking at all these areas to make sure that the Africa story doesn't stay in Africa or it's not exploited, but it's told by Africans and loved by the rest of the world.
I love it. And when you kept saying voices, do you know our podcast is called Win Voices?
Are you telling me? I know.
So Kim, okay, that's our last question, but and I'm going to ask everybody, and you all can think.
Sure.
But any inspiring message, because we are a storytelling platform, and we want that inspiration to go out to people out there. So just tell us anything which inspires you, or what can you say to inspire our young listeners?
Yeah.
Or maybe across boundaries.
For sure. I think people have been saying Africa's time is coming, it's coming, it's here.
Right.
It's very much here. We have some serious power players, and I think what's amazing is that we are waking up to the fact that collaboration is the key. We're not going to wait for governments or big companies to finance us and invest in us. We're doing it ourselves.
Yes, we
and I think that's the power in the people. That's the power in community. So if you are a young creator, be it a recording artist or an actor or director, or a content creator, find your community and build together. Don't aspire to work with the people that are already successful, already at the top. Look around in your circle, in your community, and if you have shared goals, come together and collaborate.
Wow, I love it. I love what you said. Albert, to you.
Yeah, it's literally what
Great mind.
you literally took out.
Girls have the
Great
power,
minds.
the women have the
Exactly
power.
that,
We know
but
the exact
touch on
words.
that is the community is key, especially in music space now, and the way digital streaming especially is going. People think they need to have like the big numbers to be able to compete, but really it is community building. People are shifting more to focus. You can have just about 20 fans, but if you have 20 fans who are going to pay to see you,
Yes.
20 fans who are going to pay to buy your shirt, t-shirt, that is what you really need in terms of community and connecting. Because I've seen major artists who doesn't have community. They have fans of their music,
They have
but
hype.
they don't have
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
And that is missing. But when you are coming up as an emerging artist, and also not just, and one thing I also always like to tell people who want to be in the music is that it's not just one thing that you need to do. There's so much career spaces that you need to research and put out there and be able to see. But it's community, I say, is key when you're coming up as an emerging artist. Tap into who love your music and connect with them. But that's what I'll say. You just right.
Yes,
Collaboration is
great
important.
minds.
Yes.
And now to you, Kozo.
I think they've said it all. I'll just try to just, in my own words, I would say just start and then also realize that not all the paychecks are financial. Sometimes you might make money out of it. Sometimes you might gain trust. Sometimes you might build new relationship. Sometimes you get closer to your goal, but they're all paychecks. You know, that's how I see it. So this has been from nothing in terms of African. It was a part of an ERA program. We only had one classic pass and 2 student passes, and we're like, what can we turn this into? And to see us being here with Women Inspiring Network in the Spotify studio, seeing Kim coming over and doing amazing things in Cannes, you know, seeing Albert with what he's doing with Rain Loves, it's like we only just have to start and pay it forward and see how it kind of grows.
I love what you said, but I'm just going to thank Spotify here
course.
because, you know, why I'm saying that is I just discovered, which I was just telling you, the Spotify because Bridget was on our panel and then I was just seeing for, okay, which show I want to attend because we were invited and I saw this. But I think I have learned something new coming here.
Of course.
You know, like the way the podcast is done by Spotify, and I hope we sort of grow.
Of course.
I, of course, play with the head of Spotify back in India, pickleball, and that's how I sort of knew. You know, so there are different ways how you can sort of collaborate with people when you do different things.
love it.
I met a famous chef last year, you know, who's a Michelin star chef, who I played against in Cannes at pickleball at Stagewell. And, you know, I didn't realize he was this famous chef, and I never took a photograph. And I just told him, will you take a photograph? And then I saw him in New York at the Clinton Initiative right on stage.
What a small one.
And of course, I realized it the next day at Cannes because his picture was all over. And I was like, why didn't I take Chef Jose Andreas? And then I saw him and I said, do you remember me, Chef? He says, of course, the pickleball girl. So, you know, you have different facets, you know. But, you know, and I learned something new. I love the way this studio is there. So I just wanted to sort of acknowledge that for Spotify. And for Wayne, it has been a great journey. In Cannes, we had speakers from 20 different countries. And, you know, Davos, we had 15 different. So it's good. Like, the more different we can come, collaborate, just grow. And signing off to say, let's all pay it forward.
100%.
100%
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for having
Stuti.
us.
Thank you.
Of course.